Fabulosity For You, and my name is Angie. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please click the subscribe button, then click the notification bell so when I upload videos, you'll be the first to know. Like this video and make a comment. This channel is about fashion, relationship advice, and lifestyle. And this is not your first time visiting my channel. Well, welcome back, my queens, and welcome to the kings out there. And welcome to all of my new subs. So today is Ratchet Wednesday. It's Ratchet Wednesday. Today I will be doing the final review of Chantel and the Family. This will be season 5, episode 6, Parting is Such Sweet Sorrow. So we're going to get right into it. So go get your snack of choice, go get your drink of choice, then come back and watch your girl Angie give this review. Okay, this episode was bittersweet to me. The episode opens up, Chantel is at her parents' house, and she's saying she's going to the DR because last week, Pedro's mother, Lydia, and her sister, Nicole, sent a voodoo box to Chantel's parents' house. Now, if you didn't see my video from last week, go back and watch it. It was a good one. And Chantel was just so outdone that they had the nerve to send her family a voodoo box. So she was like, oh no, I am going to the DR. And we are all going to the DR. And Chantel's parents was like, oh no, we're not going. Chantel's mother was like, there's no reason for us to go back down to the DR. And I don't see any reason for you to go. And Chantel was like, you know what, Mom? I want to go because I need closure. And this is going to bring me closure. It's like, listen, you don't have to go down to the DR to get closure. Trust me, you shouldn't go. Chantel's father also said she shouldn't go. But she said, I'm going. So her brother, River, said he'll go with her. And I love River and Chantel's relationship. Last episode, Chantel said to all of us that her and River are very close. She can confide in him. He always has her back. When she's upset, he's always so calm. And so they have a really good friendship. And I just love their brotherly, sisterly love. And so they went off to the DR, right? So they get there and they go to the hotel. Immediately, Chantel calls Pedro. And Pedro is like, what do you want? Why are you calling my phone? What are you doing calling me? And Chantel is like, listen, your family sent my parents, sent a voodoo box to my parents' house, and that's absolutely ridiculous. I am putting an end to all of this. You need to stop all of the things that you're doing down there, you and your family. And so he was, I don't know what you're talking about, and he did say in the confessional that he didn't know that his sister and mom sent a voodoo box to Chantel's parents' house. He knew nothing about it, but he's like, she's been trying to get me deported. They've been investigating me, and so she getting what she got. So he didn't feel no ways about it. So he was like, listen, you need to stop investigating me. You need to stop trying to deport me. And so she was like, I command you to meet me and my brother River at the restaurant tonight. You and your family. So they get off the phone and he basically is going to go because he don't understand why she's in the DR and what she's up to. So he goes to his mother's house, and the sister and his mother was sitting out, I guess, on their little patio. And he begins to tell them how Chantel called him. And so he begins to tell them that, hey, she said you guys sent the voodoo box. And they was like, ah, yes, we did. So we do voodoo all the time. We sent the voodoo box. And even though Pedro was laughing, in the confessional he said he's laughing, but inside he's not laughing because Chantel and her family have been trying to deport him, and he doesn't know why she's here or what's going on. And so he's concerned about that. And doing those type of things is only going to make it worse for him. So he explained that to his family, and they kind of stopped all the laughing. But his sister did say, she's crazy. Chantel's crazy. Why would she come to the DR? No, she just got a voodoo box. But you know what? We need to teach her a lesson. And so Pedro was like, you know, you guys got to be cool because I don't know what these people are trying to do to me. So meanwhile, at the hotel, Chantel is getting dressed to meet Pedro and his family. And she had this black dress with her boobs hunting up. And she had some strappy Moschino shoes on. And honey, she had her Gucci bag. And she had her YSL glasses. She was looking fabulous. Didn't Chantel look beautiful? And her brother River looked so handsome. They look very sophisticated. But I'm going to rewind it a bit. So when Chantel was on the phone with Pedro, when she called him when she got to the hotel, she felt like there was a demon in him. And that's why she kept saying, I command you to meet my brother and I. She said she was talking to the demon. So she really believes, Chantel and her family really believe that Pedro and his family practice voodoo. And when they received the voodoo box, that really made them feel like they practice voodoo. And she just felt like when they sent the box, they were declaring war. And she really wanted to come to the DR to let them know face to face that they need to leave her family out of it and leave her family alone. She also told Pedro that if it wasn't for her, he would be barefoot in the dirt eating chicken feet. Chantel told Pedro that if it was not for her, he wouldn't be anywhere. That she put him and his family on the map, basically. And what she said is true. If it wasn't for Chantel, they wouldn't be on television. If he did not come to the United States, he would not be able to live as comfortable and send money back to his family. So Chantel was absolutely right. But when she said, honey, you'd be on a dirt road, barefoot, in chicken feet, I almost fell out. Because a couple of videos ago when he was fighting Scott, when Pedro was fighting Scott, he was in the gym barefoot. And I'm like, where is his shoes? It wasn't like he was on a nice floor. He was on a concrete floor. It just didn't make no sense to me to be barefoot. You could at least have some socks on. So when she said that, that just really, really had me crying. It had me laughing. And so when Karen, which is Chantel's mother, called Lydia, oh my God, I almost fell out because Lydia, as I said, they really believe that Pedro's family practiced voodoo. And so when she called them, they were like laughing. They were laughing. And Karen was like, did you guys get the voodoo? Did you guys get the voodoo box? Because I sent it back. She said, I neutralized it and then I set it aflame. Karen said she always felt a dark presence in Pedro. She said Pedro said Chantel was evil, but your family practiced evil and voodoo. She said that she believes that she made contact with the family so that they wouldn't jump Chantel, because everybody knows, and they did show pictures back in the day when the two families will fight. And Pedro's family, Nicole gets crazy. She throws the glass. They just act crazy. And Karen was worried about Chantel, and that's why she called. So, Chantel, let me rewind back a little bit. So, Nicole is wearing a mask on her face, and the producers are asking her, why do you have on the mask? And she said that something happened with her mouth and her teeth are spread out. She's having some type of surgery that's coming up. And the way her mouth looks, she's not comfortable with showing her face. So Chantel and her brother River, they get to the restaurant early. And they get there early so that they can sage. So as you can see in the picture, Chantel sages and put the holy water in the seat. And then they sit down and wait for Pedro and his family. So Pedro and his family, they're still laughing that Chantel's mother, Karen, called. And so Nicole and her mother are making fun of Chantel's mother. Nicole went like this. These are Karen's eyelashes. We sent the voodoo box, and now the voodoo is on you, and they were just falling out laughing. Let me tell you something. Them two are some clowns. They're some clowns. So they go to their car and they're driving to meet Chantel. And in the car, Pedro is saying that he's just sick and tired of them bothering him, trying to get him deported. And he just wants all of this to be over with. And he's hoping with this sit down that they can just end things once and for all and move on. And he thinks about how it just may not go right because Chantel was sounding very upset on the phone when she was talking to him. And he was like, she wants to fight. And he was like, every time our families meet up, it's always a fight. And so he's thinking about the fights that they had. And so those are some pictures of some of the fights that the family had. So they're very toxic, okay? A toxic family. I think Pedro's family is very toxic. And so they walk up to the table, and Chantel, she has I bought my YSL glasses out because she had hers on. So she had her YSL glasses, but she had hers on her head. And she's sitting there looking just as beautiful. And she's tripping when she sees Nicole, because Nicole has on a mask. And she says to herself, thank God Nicole has on a muzzle. She tells Nicole, we sent that voodoo back to sender. Did you get it? And she said, because it looks like something hit you. And so in the confessional, Chantel says, I bet she's having plastic surgery. It was a plastic surgery gone wrong. This bitch has been wearing braces since she has known her. She said, I hope they wired her mouth shut. And so River was like, hey, sending a voodoo box was very disrespectful. And so Pedro was like, having me investigated and trying to get me deported, I would say is disrespectful. And so Chantel was like, listen, I came here to clear the air, and I came here because you guys need to leave me and my family alone. Why are you guys obsessed with us? She said, I know everything about you guys. I know all what you guys have been doing. I know you had called me ugly when I came out here. I didn't even know the language, and you guys were calling me ugly. So Nicole was like, oh, no. We didn't, let me say this. You're not ugly on the outside. You're ugly on the inside. She said, no, sweetie. You are ugly on the inside, and you feel ugly. I don't feel ugly. So Pedro broke all that up. He told his sister, shh, come on, be quiet. So she said, well, if you're not ugly, you take your mask off. And then Nicole was doing this, sticking up her fingers. She know doggone well she couldn't take her mask off. So Lydia says in confessional that Chantel needs to stop being the victim. Because Chantel was like, first of all, I want to say to you, Pedro, you never loved me. You used me. You lied to me, and you cheated on me. And he was like, I never did anything. She said, you did. You're a liar. You cheated on me. You never loved me. You used me. I mean, Chantel was like, Chantel was getting real upset. She was like, you used me. So he was like, let me just say this. When I first met you, you didn't have no money. So how did I use you? You used me, you lied to me, and you cheated on me. And he said, and he tried to look real sincere. He said, Chantel, in the beginning, no, I married you because I loved you. Honey. She said, listen, you took a picture with Karima. You've been probably in love with Karima since day one. She said, oh my God, you were so nasty. You're nasty. You couldn't keep your stuff in your pants. You had to sleep with everybody. You slept with your boss. I know everything. I talked to Obed. And then y'all start laughing. Obed. Obed, if you guys know, is Nicole's old friend. And they was like, oh, you just believe everything. You just believe everything. He said, Pedro was like, listen. No, I was not the best husband. No, I have not always been right in the marriage. But he said, look, I am sorry for that. I am sorry for that. Because I did love you. And so she was looking. I'm not accepting your apologies. I know what you did. I know you cheated on me. I know all of these things. I know you used me. No, you did not love me. He said, listen, I can sit here all night and I can tell you I loved you and all of that. And you're still not going to believe me. So if you believe if you believe that I cheated on you, if you believe that I didn't love you, if you believe all of those things, I cannot change your mind. She said, tell the truth. You cheated on me. And he said, I did not cheat on you. Look at me. I did not cheat on you. I loved you. I married you because I loved you. She said, you didn't even write the vows. You didn't even write the vows. And so in the confessional, he was like, I did not write the vows because I did not know English. My English was really bad, and I needed help with somebody to help me write the vows. He said, it's just a shame that she doesn't believe anything that I say. So Chantel was so upset. She was just so upset. She was back and forth screaming. And then she said, and then you cheated on with your co-workers and knowing I go around this woman. And no, I can't accept your apology. And honey, she jumped up and she left the table and she was crying her heart out. Pedro could not really look at Chantel when she was crying. And I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Rewind it back. When Pedro said, I never cheated on you, I loved you when I married you, he also said the reason why we could not make it is because you did not help me grow. But I never cheated on you. And so Chantel told the camera people to take, she does not want to be filmed like this. And I mean, she was just crying. So her brother, Rivers, stood up and he said to Pedro, what if this was your sister? What would you do? What do you have to say for yourself? And he just threw his hands up. And I mean, he looked real sad. He threw his hands up and he was like, I don't have anything to say. So River walked over to his sister, Chantel. And Chantel was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't mean to cry and break down like this in front of them. But I cannot accept that. He looked me right in my eyes and lied to me. I know he cheated on me. And I don't have anything else to say. And so her brother said, well, just walk away. Let's just walk away. So she walked away, honey. And then Pedro stood up. And he said, Chantel! Chantel! Take care. Take care, Chantel. Chantel never did look back. But I'm like, is that the best you can do? Is say, take care? Honey, let me tell you something about a man. When a man is done. When it's over with. That's all you have to say is take care. He could, first of all, I think that Chantel was asking for a little bit too much. Most men are not going to admit that they cheated on you. They're not going to admit that in your face. Now, I will give it to Pedro. At least he did give her an apology. He said I was not a good husband. I was not the best husband. I did wrong. And I'm sorry for that. And she should have taken that. But at the end of the day, that was not going to help the apology because deep down inside, this woman still wanted that man. Chantel is still in love. Period. Because the marriage has ended. She had not seen this man in 9 months. Then you guys see each other and he's still treating her cold-blooded. He is not trying to reach out to her. He is not asking her any questions on why it didn't work out. This man checked out of that marriage a long time ago. And she knew it, but she ignored it. She ignored the signs. And so to come all the way, and that's why the family thought she was crazy. First of all, what are you coming here for? You guys are divorced. And to come way down to the DR, girl, bye. Girl, bye. Girl, why? Why? You could have said, if you really want to get it off your chest, you could have left him a message on his voice message. And then to get down there and break down in front of him like that, he didn't even care enough to jump up and just say, listen, I'm sorry, please calm down. You know, he just was like, I didn't know what to say. Except for, I wish you the best. So it was very sad to see her break down like that. Do I believe that he loved her? I don't think that you can be with somebody for 7 years and don't have no type of love for them. Maybe in the beginning he had some love, but somewhere along the lines he stopped loving her. Do I think he used her? I absolutely think that he married her to get over here to the United States so he can make a better life for his family and himself. But I do believe at some point in time, he did have love for her. He wasn't madly in love with her or anything, but he had some love for her. But it left a long time ago. And I'm giving him that because they had been together for 7 years. And you can't be together with somebody 7 years and don't have any type of emotional attachment. I think once they started moving up in the world and he started moving on up and getting those paychecks from TLC or wherever, I think that's when his love for her left. But I just feel like, why should she have came all the way down to the DR just to confront him in his face? Of course he's going to lie, but he did give her an apology. And so once they walked away, they went back to the hotel room, and she was still crying and feeling embarrassed that she cried in front of Pedro and his family. And her sweet brother, River, I just love River, how their relationship, he said, listen, you came out here and did exactly what you wanted to do. You met him face to face. You looked him in the eye. You told him how you felt. And so there's no reason why you should be embarrassed of that. It's okay that you cried. Meanwhile, Pedro is on his way home, and he said that it's a shame that I was married to this woman for 7 years and she never believed that I loved her. And doesn't believe anything that comes out of my mouth. So why should I have tried to work this marriage out? He said that he got vulnerable with her and looked her in the eyes and said, I was in love with you. And she still didn't believe it. And like I said, I don't think that he was madly in love with her, but I think he did have some love for her along the way. Maybe in the beginning or so. And then along the way, he lost the love and his eyes was on the prize. And that's his citizenship and bringing his family over and living the American dream, getting a job and all of those things. And that's what he was doing. And some men, when they get on their feet, that's why you got to be careful, ladies, my queens out there. You got to be careful when you're trying to take care of a man. Because a lot of them, once they get on their feet, honey, They don't want to have nothing to do with you. Once they get on their feet, they out the door. So you got to be careful who you get your hands up to, who you pull up, baby, in the world. Because you thinking they're going to have loyalty for you, and that is not the case. And that's what happened to Chantel. She gave this man a hands up, pulled him up, and he started getting on his feet. And there was his true colors. And so Chantel calls her mother, and she tells her mother that she is feeling better, that coming to the DR, it took a weight off of her. A weight has been lifted. When she cried, those tears were for herself. And she said that because it just released a lot out of her, and she had the closure that she needed, and that she can move on. And Pedro said that, it went back to Pedro, and Pedro said that he wished the best for Chantel, and that he just, at this point, wants to be left alone. That's all he wants, is to be left alone. And Chantel said to her mother as well that she felt a trigger when she saw his family. And she knew at that point that their family was very toxic. And I say the same thing. Lydia and Nicole and Pedro are very toxic. And sometimes when you have a single parent, let's just say you were raised by a mother that had a bad experience with a man, then she's going to be a person that is very toxic, because she never got over the fact that this man, which was Pedro and Nicole's father, didn't love her the way she was supposed to be loved. But what she's not owning is that this man was married. And she chose to deal with a married man. And whether you have a baby or not, maybe she thought that he was going to leave his wife and family for her and their family, and he did not. So she never got over the fact that she felt like this man did her wrong. Now, in the beginning, she said she didn't know this man was married, but when she found out, she still had a second baby. So when you have toxicity and raised in toxicity, it goes to your children. And that's why it's important to heal when you have broken relationships. Because then your ideas and everything is going to go down to your children, and they're going to become negatives. And they're going to be in that cesspool of negativity. And that's all I saw with Pedro and his family. They never once tried to be kind to Chantel and her family. From the beginning, like Chantel said, they talked about her when she didn't even know the language. So what upsets Chantel is he consistently says that he did not cheat when she had a private investigator. The private investigator told her the story, everything she needed to know. This man was dating Karima in high school. They were an item. Obed said, of course they had sex. So she was not the first person he had sex with. And the investigator said that he did date one of the people he worked with, and he believed it was the older lady, which was his boss. And so he did not come clean, and he was not going to come clean. But he did give her an apology. And so Chantel, in the end, is saying that she's not going to give up her dreams. She wants to have a family. She wants to get married. She wants children. And she's going to go head on and leave all of this behind. And I'm glad Chantel has come to that conclusion, because sometimes people don't get closures. But I really didn't think she should have went down there. But what I will say is this: if it took her going down to the DR and looking in this man's face to get closure, then sometimes you got to do what's best for you. And your parents can't tell you what's best for Chantel. Your family can't tell you what's best for you. And so if that's what it had took for her to move on, then good for Chantel. But it was just bittersweet, because at the end it showed when they first met and when they were happy, and that's how it goes. You know, that's life. We all marry somebody we think we're in love with. We feel head over heels, and it ends up being a big disappointment. But just because you have a big disappointment, just because this person did not work out for you, does not mean you cannot find the right person. It just means you have to make better decisions. And personally, I think that Pedro caught Chantel when she was vulnerable. Because Chantel felt like these American men, they don't get married. It take them 4 years to decide if they want to get married. And she wanted to get married. And so he caught her at a very vulnerable moment, because at the end of the day, you can look at Chantel, you can look at Chantel's family, you can look at Pedro and his family, and she really was out of his league. Chantel was out of Pedro's league. He's handsome, but he kind of looked a little grimy at home in the DR. And he just didn't have the class that Chantel possessed and her family possessed. They just didn't have the class. And sometimes when you be with people and your people are a little classy, and you have a family that's not, it's just not gonna come together and mesh. But at the end of the day, Chantel will find someone that's gonna be all that she hopes him to be. And I really enjoyed giving the review of the family Chantel. So I'm going to have to find out, think about the next show that I'm going to do a review on. And if you guys have any suggestions of a show, television show for me to review, please put it in the description. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching my channel.